3, 2, 1. The Iowa Hawkeyes flew south to Tampa Bay this week, where the temperatures were in the low 80s as compared to the teens in Iowa City in the state of Iowa. The Hawkeyes and their fans, though, found the Outback Bowl more to their liking, as Iowa put up a 27-22 loss on the Mississippi State Bulldogs, thanks to a continuous display of miscues in all three phases of the game by the Bulldogs. Mississippi State came in with the #1 ranked defense in the nation. Iowa was 7. The Bulldogs had a fast, aggressive start in limiting Iowa to -8 yards total offense in the first quarter. With just a speed defense, so much quickness up at the line of scrimmage. However, the offense continued to struggle as they only were able to find 2 44-yard field goals, in that first stanza. And then there were penalties. There was a questionable celebration penalty. There was also a questionable call on a targeting out of bounds that kind of set the Hawkeyes up and got them to thinking, hey, maybe, we can come in here and win this football game. In the end, though, it was a situation where Nate Stanley, was able to take advantage of the over-aggression, the over-pursuit of the Bulldogs' defense, and find Nick Easley, the game's MVP, on a play-action pass to give the Hawkeyes a 10-6 lead there in the first half, as they actually rode a 17-6 lead into halftime. Mississippi State came out real fast and furious. They turned Iowa over twice. Nick Fitzgerald had a 33-yard run off the right side, as did Hill, his running back, who he found on a 1-yard score. It made it 19-17, like some 4 minutes into the third quarter, as the 2 touchdowns came only 18 seconds apart. In that string was after Hill's touchdown and a missed 2-point conversion. The ensuing kickoff found an Iowa turnover and a Mississippi State recovery, which Fitzgerald took to the house on the next play. From there, though, it was more Mississippi State turnovers and penalties. They had 8 penalties for 90 yards. Iowa wasn't penalized. Nothing on either side. They called it that they played a really good, clean game. But there were a couple of things, especially a hold on Easley's second touchdown, where a wide receiver actually pinned a Mississippi State defensive back to the turf that wasn't called, and that ultimately was a problem. But at the end of the day, whenever you have things happen like Mississippi State came out, they play-actioned on a first down, trailing 24-19. Nick Fitzgerald found Stephen Guidry down the right seam for a 51-yard pass play to the Iowa 2. However, he was just tripped up on the Iowa 2. Then it was a matter of the question of the play calls there, as the Bulldogs dialed up Fitzgerald 3 times from the 2-yard line, and he rushed for -1 yards. Coach Joe Moorhead talked about after the game what went into that call about how Iowa had all their bases covered. There were options, to do things differently, but the options didn't come to any avail there. So they kicked a field goal. It was 24-22 after the Hawks go 3 and out. Mississippi State, looks like it's getting once again in position to score. Guidry breaks open in the end zone, and he bobbles a pass. It looked like it hit him actually in the shoulder pad, the stomach. Then Iowa's Nick Gervais snatched that ball out of there for the interception, which literally sealed the deal. Because what happened was he returned it to the 28-yard line, and then the Hawkeyes marched. The quarterback Stanley was able to find Hockerson, the tight end, on a 22 and a 20-yard pass plays to get them going. The Bulldogs did hold Iowa to a field goal right there, so it's 27-22, and that's the way it ended, because this type of offense that Mississippi State runs, it does not take advantage of the wide receivers, because the quarterback, Fitzgerald, is not going to consistently throw the football into any of these guys who have all this speed and give them a consistent ability to hit big plays down the field. And I think that's one more problem with the Bulldogs' running game, is Fitzgerald is your leading rusher. And it's kind of funny, because I was talking to somebody in the press box. He looks like he labors when he runs, yet he breaks all these big plays, like that 33-yard run we talked about off the right tackle. So when you put those things together and you're struggling, with the penalties, you're struggling with the turnovers, then all of a sudden it becomes a different football game. And, quite honestly, for Mississippi State, it did them in, to the point where they probably finished the season with a little bit less of record at 8-5 than maybe we thought they would early in the season. The final score here from the Raymond James Stadium at the Outback Bowl: Iowa 27, Mississippi State 22.